Hey, hi guys. So, I have a read here on Joe Kennedy, and I wouldn't have thought to read on Joe Kennedy. This is really a read of other people's reads, because now it's gotten me curious, because there's been Truth Warrior and Intuit View and have mentioned, feel like they see him rising up to possibly even be the next president. And, I feel like the question always that is sitting there is, how in the world does that happen? I will say, and I think Linda G also had said she sees like a young man maybe rising up somehow, but, or a young political person that we just don't see coming suddenly comes up. So one thing that, really strikes me is how, and I read on this a few weeks ago on Joe Biden in the 2020 election. Where is he? Like in my read, I didn't see him there. And who I saw there was actually Elizabeth Warren, which really surprised me also because she had dropped out, but I kept seeing her pop in. And then I felt like I really felt her there in Biden's place. And at the time, it seemed like she would have been a long shot for his pick as VP. Now, actually, I think I think it's a good possibility she could be the VP. Which is great, is exciting. And so it would make sense to me. Oh, and then if you look at that reading, in the end, I also saw that who she picks as a VP is going to be a really strong partnership. Like the ticket would be a strong partnership. And so now I'm wondering, is that how he could possibly get in to suddenly rise into a really strong leadership position? And I think that we'll all be like sort of down for less of, this idea of a president as this all-powerful leader. I just think we're a bit turned off by that at this point after this horrible experience with Trump. We just want, we would not mind feeling like there's a couple people sort of wanting to be like administrators to the people and figure out how to give back and that sort of thing, as opposed to wanting to be just worshipped, which we're dealing with now. So the question, at hand, just being, is that how these other readers seeing him rise up? Is that something that is in the cards for him, at least in my cards? And also, my sort of wondering, could it happen through a VP pick, whether Joe picks him, though Joe has said he wants to pick a woman, or could it be whoever, Joe's VP is, eventually picks him if that person becomes the nominee? So let's see. I'll show you what I got. First, it's so on the nose, but this is literally what flew out, is the Lover's card, the partnership. And this, I literally think this was the card in my read that I was just talking about on the 2020 election, and that's where I felt like she's going to be in a strong partnership with whoever she picks as her VP. And so maybe that's the answer. And then covered by a Page of Wands, which I see this as him sort of, not expecting this to happen in his life. And, he didn't go through I don't think he's ever run for president, gone through the primary, and suddenly he would be up there. So feeling a bit like a Page of Wands, like the newcomer into the scene quite suddenly. Maybe feeling a little unsteady at first. But I think, he would be sort of feeling like a calling to service for him, for his country. I think that's just like the kind of person he is. At the top, I see this is not remotely something that he is waiting on. This is so far out of, this would tell me there's a waiting on something. Upside down, it's like not even waiting. Not even in his realm of possibility right now that anything would happen that would put him there. I don't think. I mean, like I said, unless Biden had him in mind, but if Biden did have him in mind, this card would tell me he's not waiting anymore. Like maybe it's just been decided. Well, like I said, Biden has already said a woman. So so we'll move on from that. At the base, Queen of Cups, I feel this like as his soul, where he's at right now, where his heart is at right now. And with his family. And I know it would be natural to think this might be a Waite, but I actually see him, even though he's a man, as this Queen of Cups, caring for his family. Like that's just sort of the kind of heart he has. Oh yeah, and somebody said in the comments on one of those that he actually said he wasn't running because he has young children. So there you have it, and it's so cute that these cards actually look like little Kennedys with their red hair and their pink cheeks. So yeah, so that answers that. I see that he had walked away from the opportunity to run for president for that reason in this card. And here I also see that if something happens in this direction, it's not going to happen in the very near future anyway. I don't think it's going to happen in the next month or two. And certainly neither does he. That just tells me a little more waiting time. And this tells me he's hard at work on something. I mean, this could just be him doing his job and focusing on the job at hand as opposed to anything outside of that, which kind of reiterates the stuff we were seeing. And it kind of made me laugh that we're all talking about him in this way, and he's literally just like so far from his mind. This, I see this Six of Cups being a nostalgia card, and also just a beautiful card of sweetness and kindness. I see this as the type of person that he is. He's just a beautiful person, generous, of like heart and spirit. And also I do see in this tying into the nostalgia, his family, history, these men in the past, JFK and his brother, and then JFK's son, all of them not living through the potential that maybe they were meant to live and express. Like there's like an expression of that hasn't been allowed to fully express yet in the goals and dreams of these men that would be passed on to him. And I think there might be something really spiritual happening there in that. It is like passing on the torch to Joe Kennedy from them spiritually to continue to finally fulfill the vision they had for the country. And I think a lot of that has to do with this right here, hopes and fears, this King of Pentacles. I see as, you could just, I don't just see it as Trump. I see it as the rich folks, the fat cats behind someone like Trump and behind so much of what our government answers to right now and maybe has been building for a long time. These money men, these fat cat money men who allow someone like a Trump to stay in power because all they care about is that their pockets are being lined. I see these as the people who are like the big corporation people who see the American masses as just workers, a potential workforce for their big companies. It's like these, I've been feeling that a lot. Like Trump gets up there, it's all about like these, like we're just run by a bunch of CEOs who want their workers. And what a Joe Kennedy and also an Elizabeth Warren want is for the money, the wealth of America to come back to the people. And I could see this as small business loans. Like everybody should be able to start their own business. Well, not everybody, but you know what I mean? Like, they don't see you just as workers. They see you as entrepreneurs. They see you as, also, of course, just in general, let's see what, we pay our taxes. It comes to I also want to say this as a final card it struck me that this doesn't scream president, right? But I was saying in this age, I think we're ready for a different type of president that is not just a king or an emperor, but a giver back to the people. And so that would be fantastic, and also just like, if you want your kids to go to college, they should go to college. We have the wealth to give back to the people rather than just giving to the corporations because we think they need to run everything. So anyway, you get the picture. Wanting to give people health care if they need health care. There's plenty to go around. And and at the base of the read at this point, I had the Fool card, which actually brought me back to the thing those other people are saying, which is this is like a new venture. I mean, this is a major arcana. There was no other of those. Oh, there was the Lovers, and then okay. So anyway, and it's interesting that this is a major arcana upside down, because that means there is something big that he doesn't even know he's waiting for. He might even feel that inside. But anyway, and then so the Fool, yeah, new beginnings, a new adventure, a new cycle of life that could be coming for him beneath all of this. That's there. Points to, like, maybe that is it. Maybe that's the new thing that's coming his way, is all of this happening that he won't see coming. I decided to pull a couple more on this. The first one I got made perfect sense to me. Give back to the people, and this is also cleaning up the mess that has been left behind. And cleaning up whatever mess of this government that got us into this horrible position. Things need to be changed. And they will with someone like him. And then this card, now at this point I was like, oh, there's only positive cards. This King of Pentacles is only there to show what's going. I did get a Ten of Swords here. I know, I was bummed. But I also feel like the cards were almost saying, don't think this is going to be so easy, guys. Like, if we don't remember what's coming, it'll end up just bumming us out. When it does happen, it'll feel scary. But like, we have to remember there's going to be attacks. There's no way these people are going down without a huge fight. So we will be prepared. And then I did check at the bottom at that point, and I get an Ace of Wands, which is another positive card. And actually I do see this as a solo card, whereas we start out with the Lovers. I do think this does point to that eventually it could just be him standing alone, as the top position, as the president. And then I found it interesting that right under this card was an upside down devil, and I felt like I wanted to show those together because I feel like they go together. This would be, to me, like a new age. That's what I feel. A new age of this country, a new age of government, maybe a new age for all of us that we are just really ready for as soon as we can just get this out. And like, for this to be on top of this just visually says a lot. So I think maybe they are reading into something for him, moving onto the scene and being this new leader for a new age for this government, where we get rid of this, we get rid of that, and we clean things up and we give back to the people. So yay, I like that. Hope you liked it. Thanks for letting me share with you, and let me know if you had thoughts. And otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye.